A very good morning, students. Welcome back to online session on programming for problem solving course. In our last session, we actually started the C language concepts. There is nothing but C programming language concepts. So we said there is a similarity in learning any natural language and the programming language. The way how we are learning any natural language like English, so in that same way we are going to learn the programming language. So we said in order to have the clear understanding or in order to frame the sentences in any particular language, we need to have a strong vocabulary. So the same thing we said applies to the programming languages as well. So in order to have some strong command on a particular language or on a particular programming language, we need to know the vocabulary. We need to understand what statements we have in that programming language and what constructs we call them as constructs, how the way the programming language or the way the natural language constructs itself. We call all those things as the language constructs. So as you might be known that in order to learn the English language we have different constructs, like we need to know the alphabet of the language, English language. We need to know the nouns, pronouns. We need to know voices, tenses, and sentence framing. All these articles, all these things we have to know in order to frame the sentences in English language, isn't it? So in that similar way, in your programming language, specifically in C programming language, we do have some constructs. Like we start with the alphabet, C's alphabet. Here we call it as character set. C's character set. Okay, so we call it as C's character set. So it is something similar to your English alphabet. So in English alphabet we have 26 letters, isn't it? So in C's alphabet what we have, that is nothing but in C's character set what we have, that we are going to study in today's class. So C is also having character set, then followed by different constructs like variables, arrays, control structures, then your structures, pointers, files, functions. All these are the constructs of your C programming language. So if you know these concepts, if you are good in these concepts, then believe me, you will be in a position to write your own C programs. You will be in a position to develop applications in C programs. And what I said, you will be able to solve any real time problem with the help of an application in C program. So hopefully we'll become master once we do all these things in this particular semester. Okay, so this particular thing applies specifically to the CSC people. Okay, they they have to focus more on this subject. They have to learn each and everything. They have to clarify all their doubts whenever encountering, and don't wait for it to come. Okay, uh, why I'm stressing this much on CSC means because in your future semesters, maybe your third semester, fourth, fifth, from the third semester, of course, you are not going to see any programming in your second semester. It is merely you are going to study the non-core subjects over there. But when it comes to your third semester, believe me, we are going to do data structures over there, and it is completely closely related to your C programming. And then Java, it is also very much related to your C programming. Okay, afterwards we are going to discuss many advanced programming languages or many advanced computer science concept. All those things are also related to your C programming. Okay, so that is the reason why, even if you have a gap, semester gap in between, don't waste the time and try to focus more on this C programming or any other programming language you take into your consideration, and start preparing for that programming language as well. Anyhow, we are here, we have a lot of clubs over here, club activities, add-on courses, bridge courses. We have many things over here. I don't think you people will be free in that semester. Definitely you are going to have a lot of activities in that semester as well. Okay, so we discussed the history or the introduction to C programming in our previous session. So we said the evolution of this C programming, how it has been done from ALGOL to BCPL, from BCPL to B, then finally in the year 1972 we said Dennis Ritchie, he developed the language, structured programming language, high level programming language C, and he called it as traditional C. Then the ANSI people, they adopted it afterwards. The ISO people, they have also given the standard to this C, and they called that C as C89. So after that, in the year 1995, some changes have been made, some minor changes have been made to C89, and they called it as C95. Then once again in the year 1999, some major changes, some major add-on additions have been done to this C95, and from there on, they people are calling it as C99. Okay, so that is not the end point. As I said, from the year 1999 to 2020, it is like a 21 years gap. So in that span of time, many changes have been made to the C as well. So I told you to do it as an assignment, take it as an assignment, and find out what changes have been made. I mean, from C99 to any further changes we have, any further advancements we have in that C, that you have to find out. Okay, so in today's session, we start the programming concepts, that is nothing but the constructs, programming constructs concept. So first we'll see what is C alphabet, then we go to other concepts as well. So quickly, without much ado, I will go to that. Yeah, this all these things, your theory concept, that is history of C. Then we have seen comments, isn't it? So we said comments are helpful in documenting your code, isn't it? How these comments will help you in order to document the code, these comments are helpful. So why we are keeping documentation with the help of these comments means your compiler will ignore these comments when it compiles, or when it executes your program, it simply ignores the comments. And apart from these comments, whatever code you are writing, it will translate only that code into machine language, isn't it? So as I said, we are keeping both C code as well as the documentation inside the same source file, inside the same C source file. So if you don't put these documentation with the help of these comments, then what will happen? Your compiler will consider those statements also, the documentation statements also, as part of your program, and it will generate errors for you. It will generate errors for you. So when we start the actual coding, there you will understand the purpose of these comments. So simply what the compiler will do with these comments means it will ignore it. So that is the reason why we are keeping documentation stuff with the help of comments. So comments, we said they are of two types: block comments and line comments. Block comments, we also gave a name, multi-line comment, and line comment we can also call it as, specifically we can also call it as single line comment, because with the help of line comments you can give only one line of comment. If you want to give multiple lines of comment, then you have to go for block comment or multi-line comment. Okay, so we have seen what tokens we are using when we are creating this block comment, or when we are creating this line comment. So to create the block comment, / followed by asterisk will act like an opening token, and to end the block comment we are using the reverse order, asterisk followed by /. So these two tokens are helpful in order to create the block comment inside your C program. And line comment, simply put two / that will act like an start token of your line comment, and there is no end token for your line comment. Simply wherever you are hitting the enter key to end the line, that end of line symbol itself acts like a end of comment as well, end of single line comment as well. So in that way we discussed these concepts, and quickly we said uh, the nesting of comments, which nesting in the sense keeping one comment into another comment. Okay, comments can be nested one within another. So if you read this first statement, you will understand what you mean by nesting. Nesting in the sense keeping one comment into another type of comment, or into the same type of comment. We call it as nesting of comments. Comments can be nested, so one within another. Doing so does not give any specific meaning. Yeah, it is not having any specific meaning in our programming understanding. Okay, in our program understanding or in our programming language understanding, it is not having any meaning. So generally a professional programmer won't do any such thing, but we as the beginners, okay, we may do such mistakes in our program. So we need to know what exactly will happen if you try to nest one type of comment into another. Okay, if you try to nest one type of comment into another, what kind of error your compiler will raise, or does it really give errors, or it will not give any type of errors, what exactly will happen if we nest one type of comment into another. So here, that combinations, we have two different types of comments, isn't it? Block comment and line comment. So if you, but with the help of these two combinations, how many with the help of these two comment types, how many different combinations we can frame? So if you take B for block comment and L for line comment, so how it will go? So B for block comment we are saying, and L for line comment. So let me just take the whiteboard for you so as to make the clear understanding. See what we are saying: B for block comment and L for line comment. So if you have like this B and L, so yeah, how many different combinations we can make with these? So we can nest a block comment inside a block comment. So that will go like this: B within that we are keeping another B. So BB is one combination. Then we can nest line comment within block comment. So B2 L, this is another combination. Then inside line comment we can code line comment, that is L inside L. Then inside line comment we can code block comment, that will go like this. So we have four different combinations by using these two comment types. So we can nest a block comment within a block comment, a line comment within a block comment, a line comment within a line comment, and a block comment within a block comment. So these four combination types of nestings we can do. These four types of nestings we can do using these two types of comments: block comment and line comment. Hopefully you understood. So if we do like this type of nesting, block comment within a block comment, whether your compiler will generate any error, or is it acceptable or it is not acceptable, exactly what will happen, that we have to study. Same thing for if you nest a line comment within a block comment, what will happen? A line comment within a line comment, what will happen? A block comment within a line comment, what will happen? So likewise we have to see all these different combinations in our programming. So quickly I'm going. So over here also you can see I have gone something differently over here. So we are saying nesting of line comment within line comment. So this is L inside L. The first combination is L inside L. Then B inside L. So here you can see nesting line comment within a block comment. So sorry, this meaning I have given wrongly over here. So we are saying this should go like this. Okay. So nesting of block comment within line comment we are saying, isn't it? Block comment, sorry, nesting line comment within a block comment. So within a block comment we are keeping line comment. This should go like this. So within a block comment we are keeping line comment. So this is within a line comment we are keeping line comment only. Then within a line comment a block comment. So this will go like this. Within a line comment we are keeping block comment. So the finally within a block comment only. So B goes within a B. So like this. So these combinations you have to remember. So that if you want I can write over here also. Okay, inside your notes I will put like this so that you can have the clear understanding. Line comment within a line comment. So then line comment within a block comment. Then block comment within a line comment. Then finally the block comment within a block comment. I hope this is not visible to you. Anyhow, so I will put this entire thing inside your notes. Okay, I will modify accordingly so that you can remember this stuff very easily. Okay, so these things we have to understand. So first thing, yeah, what happens if we nest a line comment within a line comment? So over here I will write that one. So what exactly we are doing? We are nesting a line comment within a line comment like this. Nesting a line comment within a line comment. So what exactly will happen? So how we are writing, yeah, this thing to understand. how we are writing the line comment, how we are starting the line comment by using two forward slashes. Like this, we are starting the line comment, isn't it? So then I'm writing line comment. This is okay. This is okay, or else we'll take the help of this text. Okay, like this. So hope it is visible to you. Okay, so here I'm writing that one. So how we are starting the line comment? So by using this symbol, we are starting the line comment. So over here, I'm writing some portion of the comment. This is my first line. Okay, I want to start another line comment. So like this, nesting of a line comment within a line comment. So like this, I'm starting. So this is my first line comment. So like this. So in order to end this line comment, what I have to do? I have to press the enter key, isn't it? So when I'm pressing this enter key, what will happen? Yeah, here this will be considered as, over here when I wrote, this is my first, okay, this is my first starting token for outer line comment. This is my first token for outer line comment. So then I have an inner line comment here. This is the nested inner line comment, second one. So like this, we have like this. So this is my starting part. So when the compiler sees this token, whatever follows this token will be ignored by the compiler, as we know. Because it is a line comment, it will be ignored by the compiler. So when it sees this token as well, when your compiler sees this second token as well, it will ignore, because its job is, when it sees the starting token of line comment, until it finds the end token of line comment, everything whatever comes in between, your compiler will simply ignores. So this is your starting token, and where we have the end token, here when you pressed the enter key, at the end of the line, when you press the enter key, a special uh, symbol, we call it as carrier. We call it as carrier. Okay, this special carrier symbol, carrier, what it is doing, it is shifting your control from here to here. When you press this enter key, your control will be shifted from here to here, isn't it, from the to the new line. So this end of line or new line symbol will be considered as your end of token, end of token for single line comment. So whatever we have in between, it will be ignored by the compiler, so it will not generate any kind of error. No error over here, it will not generate any type of error, and it simply ignores from here to here. See, I'm drawing a line from here to here. Whatever we have in between, from here to here, whatever we have in between, the complete thing will be ignored by the compiler. This entire thing will be ignored by the compiler. The reason, it is very simple. Okay, when it have the start token of your single line comment, whatever proceeds, whatever follows, or whatever you have after that single line comment token, start token, everything will be ignored by the compiler unless it sees the closing token. Unless it sees the closing token, everything will be ignored. So nesting of single line comment, it is meaningless completely, and it will not have any effect on your program. It will not have any effect on your program. So like this, you can remember. So the next thing what we have, next we have a multi-line, sorry, we'll go to the slide and we'll see what we have next thing. See, over here I have written very clearly, nesting a line comment within a line comment does not raise any error. So if you read this first statement, you will understand. Nesting of line comment, nesting of a line comment within a line comment does not raise any error. The start token of the nested line comment will be ignored by the compiler. Why nested line comment? In the sense, the second, I'm talking about the second line comment token, second token. So this will be ignored by the, see here, I have written, will be ignored by the compiler as part of the outer comment. Outer comment in the sense, this one, as part of the outer comment, this thing will be ignored. No error condition, it will not generate any kind of error condition, because where this line comment will end means over here the line comment will end. The line comment will start at this point and end at this point, and in between whatever you have, it will start at this point and end at this point. Yeah, here I am pointing the arrow marks that to indicate, to show the start and end of the single line comments. So whatever you have in between, those things will be ignored by the compiler. So as part of your outer comment or as part of the comment, this second token, whatever you have started, that will also be ignored. That will also be ignored. So in that way you can remember. So next thing we have nesting of line comment within a block comment. So nesting of line comment within a block comment. So here block comment I am starting. So how we can start the block comment? Here I am starting the block comment. You just see that one. So to start the block comment, what token, what combination token we are using? So first we have to use the forward slash followed by the asterisk symbol. So this is my start of block comment or start of multi-line comment. So this is my multi-line, okay, comment which will span comment which will span more than one line, which will span more than one line. So this is my block comment. So like this we are starting the block comment and ending the block comment over here, and in between if I put a line comment, so what will happen with this? Does it going to raise any error or what? So what I have done, I have started a block comment over here. So this is my starting point of the block comment. So this particular token is the starting point of my block comment start. And where I am ending my block comment, here I am ending. This is the end point of my block comment. See, when I started a block comment, your compiler will ignore all the things, including multiple lines. It will ignore all the things until and unless it sees the end of comment symbol, end of block comment symbol. So where I have the start of block comment symbol, here I have the start of block comment, and where I have the end of block comment, here I have the end of block comment, and in between whatever we have, everything will be ignored. So here I have started the second inside the block comment I have started the line token, isn't it? This is start of line token, start of line token. This is for our consideration, line token. This is for our consideration, and what your compiler will do with this symbol means it will ignore this one as well as part of the comment only. It will be ignored by the compiler as part of the comment only. It will not consider this as the start of line comment. This is for our consideration only. Okay, so nesting of line comment within a block comment, it is also meaningless. It is also meaningless and does not have any effect in your programming and does not raise any issues, any errors in your programming. So nesting of line comment within a block comment, it is a meaningless job, it is a waste job, and your compiler will not consider it as a second comment, and your compiler simply ignores that and will not raise any issues, will not generate any errors. So the same thing we are discussing over here. Nesting a line comment within a block comment will also not generate any error. Okay, the start token of the nested line comment will be ignored by the compiler as part of the comment only. The start token of the single line comment. Within a block comment, we are keeping the single line comment. So single line comment start token will be ignored by the compiler. It will not have any effect on your programming. Hence will not generate any error condition. So as you can see over here. See what I have done? I have started the block comment over here and I have ended the block comment over here, and in between we have the line comment. So this line comment token will be ignored by the compiler as part of the outer comment. No error condition. So it will not generate any issues, any errors in your programming. So the third type of comment, nesting of comment, is keeping a line comment within a keeping a block comment within a line comment. Keeping a block comment within a line comment. So that thing, how we can put, first of all I am keeping a line comment. So line comment, how we can see here two different situations we have. So the two situations we will discuss. See, within a line comment, this is my line comment. Okay, this is my single line comment. I will write like this: single line comment. So this is my single line comment. Over here I have started the single line comment, and here I have ended the single line comment. So this is not the ending. In order to end the single line comment, you must have to hit the enter key. then only the single line comment will end, because hitting the enter key is the end token for this single line comment. You have to remember this one. Hitting the enter key or adding the end of line symbol inside your code or inside your line, that is the end of single line comment. So here I have ended the single line comment. So now what I am trying to do is I am trying to add a block comment within it. So like this I am adding. So adding the block comment within that line, inside that same line, if you add the block comment, okay, block comment, it will not generate any issues. It will not raise any issues. So what we have done, we have started, see here, I'm giving the explanation. We have started the line comment, single line comment over here. At this part, we are starting the single line comment and we are ending the single line comment over here. So block comment, yeah, block comment closing symbol I have not given. So for the block comment closing symbol also I have to give. So that closing symbol here, let us assume here we are giving here. Okay, so like this. So now, so where I have started the single line comment, here I have started the single line comment, and where I am ending the single line comment, yeah, here I am ending the single line comment. Here exactly at this point we are ending the single line comment. So in between, whatever we have written from this start token to end token, this complete thing will be ignored by the compiler. So whatever you have written as part of this block comment, to start the block comment you have used these two special tokens over here, start of block comment token and end of block comment token. These two things will also be ignored by the compiler. These two things will also be ignored by the compiler. It will not have any effect on your programming. Okay, it will not have any effect on your programming if your block comment is spanning within that line itself. Okay, within that line itself. The problem arises. So if the situation is like this, your compiler will not generate any issues. If the situation is like this, your compiler will not generate any issues. But where exactly the problem will come means, if you try to make the block comment to span more than one line, when you are nesting the block comment within single line comment, and if you want your block comment to span more than one line, then the problem arises. So that we will see now. So let me just clear this stuff and have the editing in this same written code itself. So what I'm doing now, sorry, yeah, here only we have to do the editing. So what I am doing, see, my single line comment is ending over here. Okay, here when I pressed the enter key, there I am ending my single line comment, but I want to have multiple lines inside my block comment. So that I am doing over here, multiple lines for block comment. Comment, they are spanning more than one line, like this. They are uh, spanning more than one line, and here I am ending my multi-line comment. Here I am ending my multi-line comment. So now what will happen? How your program will react? What effect you have inside your programming? See, yeah, let us quickly have the understanding over here. So this is my start token for single line comment, and where exactly it is ending? Here it is ending. Here it is ending. Here we have the new line character, that is enter symbol, hitting the enter key. So here it is ending. So this entire thing from here to here will become the part of your single line comment, and it will be ignored by the compiler. It will be ignored by the compiler, and whatever you have written, this start of multi-line comment token, okay, start of block token, start of block comment, start of block comment, this will also be ignored by the compiler. So whatever you have written here and here, this additional thing from here to here, it will generate an error because it will not be considered as an comment. See, in order to make this as a comment, you need a start token. Along with end token, you need a start token. That start token you are not having. That start token here you have, but it is ignored by the compiler as part of this single line comment. So that is the reason why this end of block comment token is isolated and generates the error into your program. Generates the error into your program. All these things you can practice when we start the actual programming. There you can practice all these things and you can see the effect. Okay. So this end token is isolated and it generates the error inside your program because the combination start token of this end token is ignored by the compiler as part of the line comment, so that is the reason why if the code from here to here it will generate an error. So quickly go to your slide and you can see here, you can see. So what I have done here, yeah, this is my start token for the line comment and this is my end token for line comment. And here this particular thing, the start of block comment is ignored by the compiler, and this additional thing whatever you have will generate error condition. Here I have written clearly, you can read it, will generate error condition. This additional thing, this entire thing will generate error condition. So nesting of a block comment within a line comment, if the block comments span up to one line, no issues. If the block comment is spanning more than one line, then there is an issue. You have to remember this one. See, nesting of a block comment within a line comment will generate error only if the block comment will span more than one line. See, here I have written that statement very clearly. Only if the block comment will span more than one line, in that case only it will generate an error. If the block comment is within one line, it will not generate any error. Okay, so already we have seen the condition, the cases, everything. Then the final scenario, nesting of a block comment within a block comment. So nesting of a block comment within a block comment, it is an interesting issue, and many times they will ask this thing, nesting of block comment within a block comment, as part of 2 marks question. So generate, yeah, it will generate errors, but first we have to understand how it will generate error and why it will generate error. So what I am doing, I am starting a block comment. So how we can start? Forward slash followed by asterisk symbol. So this is my outer block comment spanning more. Here I am starting my inner block comment. So inner block comment. So this is my inner block comment spanning more than one line. So here I am closing my inner block comment, and the comment, the outer comment, it is not complete. More only I have written. So now than one line. So I am closing my outer comment as well. So see, it is an interesting case over here. So this particular thing I have, yeah. See, actually for our consideration, what we are thinking is this will be the start token of my outer comment. So start outer, for our consideration this is like this, start outer, and this will be the end token for outer, end outer. Okay, this is our consideration, and this whatever we have over here and over here, these two are start token. This is for this is start for inner, start for inner, and this thing is end for inner, end for inner. So this is our consideration, isn't it? We are considering like this, but does the compiler will also consider in that same way? No, it will consider in a different way. So quickly to understand that one, I will remove this thing. See how the compiler will consider these scenarios, how the compiler will treat this scenario is, see, when you have, I think you understood this one. How we are considering that understanding is important over here. So after our understanding, we'll see how the compiler will understand. So compiler will also understand this first token as the start of outer comment. The first token as the start of outer comment. Then this entire thing, it will read this entire thing. This entire thing will be ignored as part of the comment. And this second line will also be ignored as part of your comment. Okay, this third line, yeah, till this point it will be ignored by the compiler, including this symbol, including this start of inner comment. Start of inner block comment token will also be ignored by the compiler. See, I told you clearly, when the compiler sees the start token, it will ignore everything until and unless it sees the closing token. So this starting token will also be ignored because it will look only for the closing token. So you are mentioning the start token for inner block comment, but your compiler will not consider this as the start token for inner block comment. It will simply ignore this character as part of your comment. It will simply ignore this complete token as part of your comment. Okay, and it will only look for the closing token. So where exactly we have the closing token? So here this will also be ignored, this entire thing, and up to this it will be ignored, and this thing will be considered as end of outer comment. End of outer comment. Here we have the end of outer comment, and this additional thing whatever we have from here to here, this box of line, okay, this additional thing, what it will do, it will generate error. It will generate error because it is having an isolated token, and there is no start token for this one. There is no start token for this one. Whatever start token we have written over here, it will be ignored as part of the, it will be ignored by the compiler as part of the token itself, as part of the comment itself. So that is the reason why this additional thing will generate error. This additional thing, your compiler will not treat this thing as a comment because we don't have any start token over here. So whatever we are keeping between the start token and stop token, only that thing will be considered as comment, and rest of the things, if you have only the start token or if you have only the end token isolated, then that thing, the lines, the statements, whatever you have written, those things will generate errors. So here this is also an error condition. Quickly go and see here. So from here, this is the start of outer block comment, and this will be ignored as part of the comment, and this will be considered as the end of outer block comment, and this additional thing from here to here, whatever we have, this thing will generate error. Left alone will generate error condition. This is left alone thing, and it will generate error condition. So your comment, actual comment is from here to here, and this will be ignored, and this will generate error. Very simple thing you have to understand. Okay, so this is something about comments we discussed. So block comment, line comment, and nesting of block and line comments. How I mean, what concepts we have and how we have to remember these things. I have given clear idea, and I have given clear understanding. If you don't understand this concept, again go and watch the video once again with proper notes, and try to understand. Even if you are not understanding, anyhow, in our advanced classes we'll see the programming stuff, and I will show you inside program how we can use these comments, and how using these comments will generate errors, and using these comments will have the impact. Okay, so let me just okay, so yes, as I said, the alphabet of C we need to understand. So as I said, like every other language, whether it is natural or programming language, whatever we have, all languages will have its own alphabet. So without the alphabet, it is not possible to write any of the statements or any of the sentences inside your language. So definitely all languages, okay, take any language example, definitely it is going to have a character set, or definitely it is going to have a alphabet. So character set is nothing but it is very simple, the set of characters, set of all the characters whatever we are going to use in that particular language. So like in English, if you are learning English language, so in English, what different types of characters we are going to use? We use alphabets, isn't it? A to Z. Then sometimes we use punctuation marks, we use double quotations, single quotations, we use exclamatory marks, and we use full stop, comma, all these special characters. So sometimes we use numericals as well, numbers. Combination of all these things we call it as a character set. So what different types of symbols we use in a particular language, we call that as a character set. So like every other language, C is also having its own character set. So a program is a set of instructions that when executed generate an output. So whatever program we are writing, whatever program statements we are writing, by using how many different types of characters we are writing, all those characters will come under your character set. So the input, the output, how it will be generated, how it will be given to the program, all those things will also be considered when you are treating this character set. So all the symbols inside your program, inside your input, inside your output, all the characters whatever we are going to have, all those things will be considered as your C's character set. Okay, so the next thing, yeah, see here we have the list of all the characters that we are going to use inside your C. So we use letters, we use numericals, numbers, we use special characters, and we use white spaces or blank spaces. So the first one, letters. So what letters we use is we use uppercase letters like uh, capital A to capital Z. Okay, all uppercase letters, and we also use lowercase letters like small a to small z, lowercase letters. Then numbers, all digits 0 to 9, and all other combinations like 10, 100, 1000. Likewise, all other combinations 0 to 9, as well as the combinations we use in our programming. Then spaces, then giving a white space, just hitting one space, or new line character, already we have seen pressing the enter key. And carriage return, it is also something like an enter key only. Then horizontal tab, the tab button what we are going to have on the keyboard. So this tab is nothing but this is 8 spaces, isn't it? It is a combination of 8 spaces. Tab in the sense 8 spaces. So all these things we consider them as C's character set along with these special characters. I told you not only the English alphabets A to Z, numericals 0 to 9, spaces, we also have special characters. So those special characters we have many in number. Okay, like comma, full stop, semicolon, colon, question mark, apostrophe, double quotation, single quotations, exclamatory mark, okay, backslash, forward slash, different asterisks symbol, addition, subtraction, multiplication, caret symbol. All these things are different symbols, special characters. You no need to remember. As we practice the programs, at one point you will become familiar with all these special characters. You don't need to focus, you don't need to study about these characters. Hopefully, if you already have some understanding of these symbols, it is well and good. Okay, it is well and good. How to type these symbols on the keyboard, if you already know, means it is very very well, very good for us. So I don't think there is a person or there is a student who doesn't know how to type a message on WhatsApp. Everybody nowadays, they knows how to type a message on WhatsApp and how to use all these special characters in their messages, isn't it? So every single character over here, whatever we are having in this list, it is having a special meaning, and that special meaning, when it comes in our discussion, we'll discuss. Okay, so with this discussion, so we said C's character set, it is having 4 different types of characters, that those are nothing but letters, numbers, special characters, and white spaces. Letters are nothing but capital A to Z, small a to z. Numbers are nothing but 0 to 9 and their combinations. Special characters, we have already seen the list. And white spaces or blank spaces, they are nothing but we have 4, that is backspace, new line, blank space, new line, carriage return, and horizontal tab. So these things, and then these special characters. Okay, so we still have to see many other stuff in your first unit before concluding your first unit. Inshallah, we'll do in our next session. Thank you very much, students.